Your Locked On Capitals, your daily podcast on the Washington Capitals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This piece came from The Athletic, talking about the possibility of Nikolaj Ehlers being a good match with the Capitals. The Jets are looking to offload players after the team is left looking for answers after an early exit from the playoffs. I think we've heard that before. Oh yeah, that's the Capitals. And it's interesting, for many teams, making it to the playoffs would be a huge victory. But for other teams like the Jets and the Capitals in particular, it seems like you weren't living up to potential. And I think the Jets have higher hopes. They are a team in transition. So I think that they plan on offloading some of those players. The Winnipeg Jets are reportedly considering making changes to the roster this offseason, with talented winger Nikolaj Ehlers potentially being traded, according to The Athletic's Murat Eights. The Jets are likely to shop Ehlers ahead of the 2024 NHL draft. And we've heard quite a few different players circulated out there from different sources. We heard about the possibility of Darcy Kemper getting sent out to the Kings. We've heard about all sorts of players potentially coming and going from this team. Is there the possibility that, in fact, Nikolaj Ehlers would be a good match for the Capitals? Ehlers fits the bill of a bit younger top six forward. Oftentimes when people hear the younger forward, they're thinking late teens, early 20s, something like that. I don't think the Capitals necessarily need to go in that direction, that it has to be a super young player. He is under 30 years old. He has a good skill set. There is a pretty good upside. So Ehlers does fit the bill of a younger top six forward. Caps GM Brian Maclellan has expressed his desire to add scoring talent to his team's forward group, mentioning that the team will explore both the trade and free agency market for the right fit. Ehlers, a 28-year-old winger, could be a good fit for the Capitals, as he consistently been a top performer for the Jets despite limited ice time. And sometimes it's just a change of scenery. A change of zip code can sometimes be, exactly what the doctor ordered. Would that be the case for Ehlers? Potentially. But I do think that he does fit, I think, what a lot of Capitals fans and what Brian Maclellan, in fact, meant by a top six forward. Ehlers' season with the Jets and his current contract, what are the specifics? Ehlers had a strong season, recording 61 points in 82 games. He ranked among the top players in the league for points per 60 minutes of ice time at 5-on-5. With 1 year left on his contract at a $6 million cap hit and some trade protection, Ehlers could be an attractive option for teams looking to add scoring talent. And that's evident. That is exactly what the Capitals are looking for, is scoring talent. It can't be all on Alex Ovechkin's shoulders anymore. We know that he is, reaching the twilight of his career. TJ Oshie, we don't know the status of him. Nicholas Backstrom stepped away from hockey indefinitely. That we need to see scoring from different places, just not the predictable names or the ones that we've seen historically. Caps could use some of their draft capital to acquire Ehlers. And that's some of the things that people have already been asking about, because I'm not the first one to talk about this. Of course, this emanates from The Athletic, but other beat writers have talked about this topic as well. And how would it be possible for the Capitals to facilitate such a move? The Jets have seen success with Ehlers on ice, and trading him could help replenish their draft picks and kickstart a new phase of their franchise. The Capitals, with ample cap space and draft capital, could be a potential suitor for Ehlers, especially with potential departures and uncertainties in their current roster. Talking about TJ Oshie, Nick Backstrom, those kind of players. Not to mention the players that could potentially be on the move in the form of Max Pacioretty, Nicolas Aube-Kubel, etc. That this is a changing face of the Capitals. Whether we're ready for it or not, change is coming just based on this team getting older, and that is the position that they're in. So I think that, Nikolaj Ehlers fits that role of potentially being that guy that we've heard about for the longest time. We've heard different names out there, and ultimately at this point, it's just kind of spitballing. It's kind of throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks. But these are possibilities of what could be. In this show, I've spoke about it this offseason about different names that could potentially help bolster this team. I spoke of Mitch Marner, Steven Stamkos, those kind of players that potentially they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to make a big swing for a big fish. I don't think that Ivan Miroshnichenko, Hendrik Lapierre, and Connor McMichael are going to be able to get it done exclusively, and I'll talk about them later in the show. They're going to have to make that big swing and to go outside of the organization to help jumpstart this team in the fall.